Tensions between the United States and Iran have reached a boiling point as diplomatic efforts over Tehran's nuclear ambitions remain stalled. 2 rounds of indirect negotiations have failed to produce lasting peace between the two nations. Analysts widely believe that if these talks collapse, the risk of rapid escalation into open conflict will increase significantly. Despite the heavy US naval and military presence in the region, it is likely that the US would move for a quick, short war rather than a prolonged conflict, preferring a decapitation strike against Iran's prominent military leadership. The first and perhaps most critical target in this theoretical matrix is Major General Abdul Rahim Musavi, the current Chief of Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. Appointed following the death of his predecessor Mohammad Bagheri, Musavi sits at the apex of the military hierarchy. He is responsible for the coordination between the conventional army and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Eliminating the Chief of Staff could create an immediate vacuum in strategic decision-making and disrupt the synchronization of joint military operations. Musavi is the primary commander through whom the supreme leader's directives are translated into broad military action. His removal would likely cause confusion across different branches of the armed forces and hamper the regime's ability to mount a cohesive national defense or counterattack. The second key figure is Major General Mohammad Pakpor, the Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC. Having taken command after the death of Hossein Salami, Pakpor now leads the most powerful and ideologically driven branch of Iran's military. The IRGC is not just a military force, but the regime's Praetorian Guard, controlling vast economic empires and internal security apparatuses. Pakpor's neutralization would be a severe psychological blow to the regime's core support base. More importantly, it would disrupt the operational command of the IRGC's ground forces and its internal security mechanisms. As the leader of the institution that effectively safeguards the revolution, his loss would likely trigger internal power struggles and weaken the regime's grip on power during a crisis. Brigadier General Ismail Qani, the commander of the IRGC Quds force, represents the third critical node. While he has survived previous escalations, his role remains pivotal as the manager of Iran's axis of resistance. The Quds force oversees operations involving Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq and Syria, and the Houthis in Yemen. A decapitation strike aimed at ending the fight quickly would necessitate cutting off the head of this external operations arm to prevent these proxies from opening multiple fronts against US or allied interests. Qani serves as the strategic link between Tehran and these disparate groups. Removing him would degrade the coordination of asymmetric attacks across the region and force proxy groups to operate in isolation, thereby reducing their collective strategic impact. The fourth individual on this list is Major General Majid Musavi, the commander of the IRGC Aerospace Force. He assumed command after the death of Amir Ali Hajizadeh. The Aerospace Force controls Iran's ballistic missile and drone arsenal, which is the primary offensive threat to US bases and regional allies like Israel. This branch is responsible for the deep strike capabilities that define Iran's deterrent strategy. In a scenario where the US seeks to end the fight quickly, neutralizing the commander of the missile forces is paramount to preventing mass casualty attacks. Majid Musavi is the man with his finger on the trigger of Iran's most advanced weaponry. His removal would likely delay launch orders and disrupt the complex command chain required to fire ballistic missiles, buying valuable time for missile defense systems. The final strategic target is Major General Abdul Allahi, the commander of the Khatim al-Anbiya Central Headquarters. This headquarters is the operational brain of the Iranian military, tasked with the actual planning and execution of combat operations. Abdullahi replaced the late Ghulam Ali Rashid and his short-lived successor Ali Shadmani. While the Chief of Staff focuses on policy and coordination, the Khatim al-Anbiya commander runs the war room. Abdullahi is responsible for the real-time movement of troops and the tactical employment of forces during a conflict. Striking him would blind the operational eye of the Iranian military, making it difficult for them to respond dynamically to a rapidly unfolding US offensive. The neutralization of these 5 specific commanders would theoretically induce an immediate paralysis within the Iranian military apparatus and sever the critical links between political decision-making and operational execution. This strategy rests on the assessment that Iran's highly centralized command structure cannot function effectively without its top-tier leadership available to issue direct orders during the chaos of a conflict. By eliminating the specific individuals who control the distinct levels of ground forces, missile batteries, and proxy networks, the United States aims to trigger a systemic collapse rather than engaging in a prolonged war of attrition. This calculated approach prioritizes speed and precision to dismantle the regime's ability to coordinate a unified counterattack before the shock of the initial strike wears off.